She suffered lesser burns as she was wearing heavier clothing, but her daughter in lighter clothing suffered more serious. They were discharged. This is not new for these people.
They're horrible.
Yeah. And if you think this is going to go away, it's not. Because we are in the final showdown. Just one of those things.
Yes, it is.
We're ready to do our...
Pick up your copy of The Rising. The Rising is a Christian fiction thriller. One is rising among the corridors of power with legions of devotees. He knows his day has not yet arrived. He is elusive, powerful, and yet no one knows just how dangerous he is. None except a few who have known his works and the results. One of those is an ex-Black Ops sniper. The rising is here, yet there is the hand of opposition and faith which rises against it. The day is set for the corridors of darkness. Pick up your copy of The Rising on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Ingram, Walmart, Google Play, Angus and Robertson, and many more. The Rising by Dana Glenn Smith.
Thank you, Tower. Now we have a little message from Dr. Alveda King, Hope for the Peace of Jerusalem.
I like her.
I do too. And she says here, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls and security within your citadels. For the sake of my brothers and friends, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your prosperity. Today, an urgent question must be, is there hope for Israel? As we ponder this issue, let us remember that it was during this week, 79 years ago, in the year 1945, that the deeply respected German theologian, pastor, and anti-Nazi objector Dietrich Bonhoeffer was killed at the hands of the Nazi regime. What a legacy he shared as he displayed the true cost of discipleship. Let us remember his words today, as he spoke under the oppressive conditions of the Nazi culture. The ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world that it leaves to its children. We honor Bonhoeffer for his heroic sacrifice, devotion to God, and refusal to bow the knee to a murderous regime. During his lifetime, my uncle, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., also spoke of an ultimate test. The ultimate test of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. MLK and his wife Coretta also traveled to Israel. He encouraged support for Israel. Peace for Israel means security. The world and all people of good must respect the territorial integrity of Israel. MLK on ABC's Issues and Answers show in 1967. And so that's just a little excerpt from her. And there's a lot of truth because right now Israel is facing a lot of issues in a war. And there's a lot of issues in America as well. And it's the rising of those individuals that oppose Israel is mainly because the paid people, they are being paid to riot and stand against Israel. So you must remember that, because there are those that are billionaires, and that's why these billionaires are going to receive the worst kind of judgment from the Lord, because we have told you on this show that there are people starving. And yet there are billionaires who are spending millions and millions in order to have their agenda and get it brought into fruition. And they don't care about the people who are starving. They're spending all their money to overthrow American agenda to, get it back to normal instead of having people doing what they're doing today. So there's a lot of truth we must support. And so you can always... Now, this was on ChristianNewsWire.com, and that's where we get a lot of stuff. Her ministries are on, have a page there, and they will put stuff on it. And so that's how she gets it published. So check out Christian Newswire, check out Dr. Alveda King. Remember, this is a battle. And make sure you're on the right side. Are you ready, Tower?
Uh-huh. Faith and Death's Door, Suzanne's story. And this comes to us via globalchristianrelief.org. With a gun to her head, Suzanne stood her ground. Suzanne's harrowing ordeal began as she witnessed her father's murder by radical Islamic terrorists known as Boko Haram. One of the Boko Haram members has the gun cocked and holds it against the back of Suzanne's head. They stay like this in a standoff for a long time. My faith is still unwavering. I don't know if there's anything to this day that could stop me from following Christ, Suzanne said. The grip of Boko Haram in northern Nigeria has intensified, with reports of Christian communities being completely destroyed. Suzanne remains still, unmoving, as the men yell at her to come with them. After I wait so long and I don't follow him, he shoots me here. Suzanne points to her temple. The bullet goes through her head. She falls to the ground unconscious. The men from Boko Haram leave her there, believing she is dead, beside her father. By the grace of God, Suzanne survives the attack, though her sight is lost forever. Throughout her recovery, she has not only maintained her faith, but deepened her trust in the Lord, a testament to her unyielding spirit in the aftermath of persecution. Today, Suzanne has no vision, and she is led around the village by her husband or one of her children. But she cherishes every day as a gift, and her faith is a testimony to God's empowering resilience and courage in her life. Stories like this help us to see beyond ourselves. So many others in Nigeria and around the world are persecuted for their beliefs. They need to know their brothers and sisters in Christ stand with them and will do whatever it takes to help them overcome.
That's a good story.
It is. And if you would like to donate, you can send your donation to globalchristianrelief.org, and they help provide medical care, trauma counseling for people like Suzanne, Bibles in their own language to strengthen their faith and offer comfort, food and shelter when they're displaced from their families, and job training to provide for the families. Anything our persecuted families need, they will take care of it. So please go to globalchristianrelief.org to help your brothers and sisters.
Well, we are talking about a couple of people now. And these are leaders who lead a movement of persecution. And these people get away with it.
Unfortunately.
The first one is Isaiah Afwerki. He's the leader of Eritrea. Eritrea has had a lot of trouble. And Eritrea now is one of the most closed countries in Africa. And especially when you're talking about religious freedom, despite having a religiously diverse population. Now, I don't know how these people get into power.
Nope.
But they have systemic persecution, arbitrary detention, torture, inhumane treatment of religious minorities, and dissenters constitute crimes against humanity that demand international attention and action. And this Afwerki maintains nearly sole power over Eritrea. This is a small nation.
Wow.
It's in the Horn of Africa, and there was a war over there, and in 1991 he took over the presidency after that 30-year war came to an end. It was a 30-year war for independence from Ethiopia, and he retained the position. And they only have one political party, and that's his. So that can tell you why he's the only one there. In his time, he has turned Eritrea into what many analysts say is the most closed country in Africa, though Eritrea is split roughly evenly between Christians and Muslims. You know, that just gets me. And I've read that time and time again. You know, you have an equal amount of Christians and Muslims, but the Muslims always wind up in charge.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And one of the reasons that happens is because the Muslims will kill and the Christians won't. So that's why. And so his government is closed to free religious practice. So when you're praying, you pray for Eritrea, you know, because they have arrests, imprisonment, torture, and restrictions on religious institutions. In other words, it's as bad as North Korea or worse. So you need to pray for Eritrea and pray for the Christians and that God would deliver them out of this. And then another one we're looking at is Erdogan and of Turkey. And this guy is actually a member of the United Nations. Turkey is.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, he joined it some time ago. Now, I don't think they even, if they even have that on here. No. But he was in that. Now, of course, Erdogan kind of, you know, when ISIS went through there, you know, this whole thing was, you know, Erdogan was Turkey was in a certain thing. They wanted to monitor to keep ISIS out, but in the same token, they supported what ISIS was doing. And they're ally to the Azerbaijan, and Azerbaijan is moving, or has moved, in a genocide to get rid of 120,000 ethnic Armenian Christian in Nagorno-Karabakh. Now, this has been some time, but this is just an update for Erdogan to tell you. He utilizes his nation's geopolitical importance to push Turkey's Islamic nationalism agenda. And, of course, he's Muslim. He'll do that. And he also, because of this war that Israel is in, he has stood up against that